we're not playing today. It's like, screw this, we're not. And so we didn't know what Tootsie's was, you know. We didn't know the history behind it. We just thought, oh, this is going to be a terrible gig, so we ended up skipping out on it.
Did you really?
Yeah, we just.
Our podcast is about you and your journey in music and how you got to where you are now.
Cool.
Awesome. So you're not originally from Nashville, though, correct?
No, Dothan, Alabama, Southeast Alabama.
What was it like growing up there?
Small town, you know. Went to a county school, not very big, about 100 people that graduated in my class.
Really?
Yeah, small town, man.
That is. My class, I grew up in San Diego. Our graduating class was 1,200.
Wow.
You had 100. So everybody knew everybody, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. Just, you know, in church every time the doors were open. And that's where I actually started music, was a praise band in church.
Really?
Played bass guitar, yeah.
Was bass your first instrument?
Yeah.
Okay. How old were you when you picked up bass?
Shoot, man, I was a late bloomer, maybe 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
But prior to that, just a fan of music?
Just liked music. I mean, just a casual fan. I didn't really even discover that I liked music until, you know, my cousin was playing guitar, and that's how I got introduced to it, through the praise band. And, you know,
was your cousin in the band?
He would break it out when the girls were around, and they all went, oh, I'm like, I got to learn how to play that guitar.
What made you play bass?
They needed a bass player, and it seemed a little more easier as far as like the intro to the notes and the chords and everything. So I took the bass really, really quick. I also just like the low end. That bass just keeps it driving. I love the melodies of the bass.
When you joined the praise band, was that the band that plays actually in church during the services?
No, it was more like the youth group praise band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And would you guys play out or just play church function?
No, it was just a church thing.
Oh, that's cool. But still, I mean, did you play in front of, I mean, I would imagine you'd play in front of the people that attended church.
Yeah. We had a really big youth group, and that's kind of where, you know, the love of playing in front of people was sparked. And then my buddy who played drums in the band, he also played guitar, and he lived right down the street from me, and we would always get together and play guitar and kind of learn with each other. And from like early on, I just always wrote my own songs.
Really?
I think, you know, I was kind of like a more quiet, shy kid growing up, so it gave me the outlet to express myself a little bit more. And yeah, I was writing songs from early on.
Wow. And then did you have another band outside of the praise band?
Yeah, that sparked us writing songs together, me and my buddy Brett. And we started a couple of different bands in high school. And then we both went to Auburn University and formed a band in college, which we started playing around the bars in Auburn. And then that's where I met the guys in the Vegabonds. They had another band as well, and they were playing the same circuits as we were in college, and we kind of linked up at Auburn.
And then formed Vegabonds?
Yeah.
From there? Okay, that's cool. I'm curious, did you go to college for music or something totally different?
I have a marketing degree.
Oh, well, I mean, that works with music.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you do. Wow. Okay, so when did the band kind of overtake everything else?
So we formed in 2009 and stayed around Auburn, I think, until 2012. So we stayed in Auburn 3 years. I graduated in 2008, and I mean, you know, that college lifestyle, if you can stick around for a couple of years and keep living it, I didn't see any harm in it. It was fun.
Right. Why not?
So stayed around Auburn for a little while. And then we just got to a point where we were playing all the same bars and, you know, going to all the different colleges and the SEC circuit and playing the frats and the sororities. And it was fun. I mean, made good money, played in front of good crowds. We were able to kind of flesh out the songs in front of people in real time, you know. we would write them and then play them in front of crowds multiple times over before we ever recorded them, just to see if they would connect. And so that was good, and we still do that to this day. That's still
you'll test it out in the
that's
live
still
setting?
our model, to see, you know, how the crowd reacts to it. Is it worth going forward with, or just kind of, you know, that was cool.
I like that attitude though, because it's cool to see a band, especially a band that you're a fan of, and then they're like, okay, here's a new song that, you know, it's not recorded yet or whatever, and they're just gonna play it, and you kind of get that experience to hear this song, and then, you know, say it makes a record, it becomes a big hit, and it's like, oh, I remember when they played that. Like for me, an example of that is, I grew up in San Diego. I saw Blink-182 play, and they hadn't had Dude Ranch out yet, and they played Damn It and Josie, and I can still vividly remember them going like, this is gonna be on the next record, and it's like, they're, you know, one of their biggest songs they've ever put out.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's so cool to like share that with your fan base.
Yeah, so that's kind of how we've always done it, and it's worked, and so we just keep doing it. But so we did that for 3 years after we formed, and then we decided, you know, it's time to really take it to the next level, or at least in our evolution as a band, take it to the next level. And so that's when we moved to Nashville in 2012 to kind of jump up to the big leagues and be around people.
Your first record did well, right? I mean,
yeah,
Revolution did really well.
Yeah. And so we wanted to be around people who were focused on music 24/7, doing music. We wanted to be surrounded by it, you know, because it's only going to make you better being around people who are better than you. And we learned that very quick. But we just kept touring, and we did 3 European tours.
Wow.
Yeah, from 2012 to 2017, and put out some more records, and then went through a couple of managers and learned a lot.
Sure.
Along the way.
To rewind a little bit, when you moved to Nashville, did you have Southern Sons out already?
Yeah, so that was, well, we released Southern Sons in 2012 when we moved here.
Okay, so was that record recorded in Nashville?
Or maybe it's 2011 that we released. 2011 or 2012. Yes, it was. It was
okay.
recorded.
So you were here already, living here, or were you guys working on the record here and were like, oh, why don't we just move here?
Yeah, we did Dear Revolution and Southern Sons here in Nashville, and that's where we got the experience from. Like the Nashville experience was coming here and recording, and we fell in love with the city.
Sure.
So after we recorded Southern Sons, we decided to move up here.
Okay. Were you playing like the Broadway bars and all that, or like how do you cut your teeth here? I mean, it seems like it's everyone's here, right?
Yeah, the first time we came up here, I think it was like 2010 or so, when we were recording Dear Revolution. We got a gig at Tootsie's, or somebody told us we had a gig at Tootsie's, and this was like the middle of the day. And so we go up there, and it's early, maybe like 10 o'clock, and they're like, all right, you're going to be on at 11. We walk
AM or PM?
Yeah, AM. Oh, and so we walk back there, and you know, it's in the back room. If you're familiar with Tootsie's, the very back room.
I just went there. I honestly, I've only lived in Nashville for 6 months, and we haven't really, I mean, COVID was going on, and we didn't really have a chance to go out, and my family came to visit, and we went. I'd never been really out down there, and the first place we went to was Tootsie's, and that's I mean, you walk in, and it's like bar right there, and there's like a band playing right to your right, and so and there's like 3 levels, right? I mean, there's
3 levels. Yeah. So we were
on the
second level in the very back.
Oh, that's probably the best spot to play, I would imagine. Or the top.
We walked in, nobody's in the bar. We walked to the back where our stage is, nobody's there. We're like, we're not playing today. It's like, screw this, we're not. And so we didn't know what Tootsie's was, you know. We didn't know the history behind it. We just thought, oh, this is going to be a terrible gig. So we ended up skipping out on it.
Did you really?
Yeah, we just turned around and left and went to the studio and started recording.
Oh man,
that was our first Broadway experience. Now I play on Broadway and have played on Broadway since 2015, Just
okay, so you're
like
still doing it
as a side hustle type thing, just playing for the tourists or whatever. I play down at Old Red right now.
really?
Yeah, I
That's a
just played
cool
last night
scene.
actually.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Oh, definitely
yeah.
want to go down and check you out.
It's
That's
just like,
cool.
keeping my chops up on guitar and vocals, and all I'm doing is like singing hit songs all day. So
Right, because the
not the bad.
majority of it, right, is like you're just playing for a couple hours and
Yeah,
doing like all covers for the
yeah,
most part. I mean, people will sneak in originals. I've noticed
yeah.
that.
I play originals up there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
and
Uh,
so it's a good side hustle. It's still in the music vein. So
mhm. Do you send the tip bucket around and
yeah,
that's a
dude,
pretty that's
I'm trying
cool.
to make dough up there.
Uh, do they give you like a a list of songs that you should play or no? Not at all.
Oh yeah, whenever I started at Tootsie's, and Tootsie's on their umbrella owns Tootsie's, um, Rippy's across the street, and Honky Tonk Central. And
Oh,
I think
okay.
they own Kid Rocks too now at this point. But so whenever you join Tootsie's, they give you like this sheet of 300 songs that you should learn. I mean, I just basically go off of what I hear other people play and what I see that works, what
Uh-huh.
people tip for. I mean, I'm
Okay.
down there strictly to make money, so I want to
Of
play
course.
exactly what people tip for.
Right, right, right. I mean, that makes the most sense, right?
Yeah.
Well, I only asked that because we went to Jason Aldean's bar. We went to Tootsie's, but Jason Aldean's bar, which is really, I mean, dude, all those like rooftops, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like a cleaned up version of Vegas. It kind of reminds me
Oh
of,
yeah, it really
but
is.
like a nice Vegas. But like I would hear a song and then we went to like Kids Rocks bar and then you'd hear the same song like 30 minutes later from
They
another
all
band. Yeah. I
it's
didn't know
all
if there was some like cycle of like songs you had to kind of go through.
yeah, everybody has like the same list.
List.
Everybody's seen that list if they play on Broadway.
Okay.
It's the same 200, 300 songs. But yeah, that's where I play is on the rooftop of Old Red. It's beautiful up there, man. 5 stories up. It's killer.
Wow. How
Yeah.
often do you play there?
I'll do like 3 times a month.
Okay. Do you
Yeah.
post on like your Instagram or anything that you're playing?
I just keep it dark.
Keep it dark?
That's my
Okay.
time. You know what I mean?
Sure, sure. I'd love to see you.
Yeah, come on. Well, maybe I should post it.
Yeah, 'cause no one knows when you're playing, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in Nashville. You put out Southern Sons, and is at this point is the band doing well enough that you don't have day jobs?
No, even before the band started, I worked at Office Depot retail.
Okay,
And so that was in Auburn. Then I transitioned to an Office Depot in Hendersonville because we lived in Madison.
okay,
And and then when we moved to Antioch, I transitioned to the Office Depot over there. So I worked
okay.
at Office Depot for 8 years.
Wow.
And then in 2015, I figured out, yeah, I could do the Broadway thing, make way more money, and be playing music. So ever since 2015 was the last time I had a real side job.
What
Like
was it
I
like
had,
going in
I
there
had
and
to clock
quitting?
in, you know.
Was that a big day? Big day, I'm imagining, like
Oh
going in
yeah,
there and be
dude.
like, I'm done.
Yeah. I was dating my wife at the time, and I was like, I'm just kind of like a tribal. I don't know. I'm losing the word I'm thinking of, but anyway, I like to burn things when I'm done with them.
Okay.
So I just took my Office Depot uniform, went out in the driveway, just lit it on fire, dude. I'm done with it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was the final straw.
That is so funny. Okay. So at this point you're playing Broadway. You guys are touring quite a bit at this point too.
Yeah.
2015. Okay.
Well, the beginning of 2014, two of our original members dropped out. Our original guitar player and keyboard player dropped out.
Okay.
They were just done, kind of burnt out, because we were doing like 150, 200 shows a year. And
Wow.
it's
That's a
like
lot.
it's a lot. And I still had the side job at that point, so I was just kind of running crazy too. I was burned out too. So when they dropped out, we took a little break, and then we found Bo Cooper, who is our now keyboardist, and Richard just kind of took over all guitar parts at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, he just did a killer job by just stepping up. And so we were kind of in a regrouping stage, and we took pretty much a whole year off in 2014.
Okay.
And we in 2013 we released an EP, RCA Studio B, which we recorded in Nashville at RCA Studio B.
Wow, that must
Really
have been
cool
pretty
experience, but we didn't like the way it turned out as far as like the production of it. Like we felt like we took a step back a little bit. So that's actually a lost album. You can't find it.
I was gonna say I didn't see that one when I was going through your
Yeah, if you have it, you have it.
Okay, so that's like a gem. I'm
Yeah,
sure you have a copy, but
sure. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And you just didn't like, but you had this cool experience recording this legendary studio.
Oh, the studio was amazing. I mean, the history in there, and
sure
just
you can like feel it, right? When
oh,
you're
you
in
can
there.
feel it. You see over there where it's like, yeah, right here. This is where Elvis kicked a hole in the wall because he was mad at his band. We never fixed it. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Yeah. You have his original grand piano in there. Is a lot of history.
Wow, yeah. That is cool. Did you get to record on that piano or no? Or do they let people record on the piano?
Yeah, our keyboard player did. That was like
That's
his
cool.
final hoorah.
That is really cool though. Okay. Yeah. So that record comes out, you guys weren't too happy with it.
We weren't too happy. We toured behind it. We went on another European tour behind that record, and just kind of, that was in 2013. And then the guys got burnt out after Europe and they quit. And it was just like, it was a weird time. And so there's a big like regrouping period and kind of like a change in our sound because we were kind of really blues based rock and kind of jam band, and being around Nashville musicians and just being in the whole scene of Nashville at that time, because that's when you had Jason Isbell starting to do his solo stuff. So, and I was listening to a lot of local radio. So you just had, I just remember being a huge fan of Isbell at that time because he was coming out with Southeastern. And I was like, man, I want to pick up the acoustic and I want us to kind of go in a different direction. And so over the course of 2015, the end of 2014 and 2015, we wrote What We're Made Of. And that was kind of like our new step in a new direction. And we released that in 2016.
Okay.
And it's been pretty nonstop since then, besides COVID.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say COVID probably put a wrench in that one.
Yeah.
And you put a record out in 2019 as well. Was that right before COVID happened? And did that like stomp some plans for
No, it was early 2019.
Okay.
So we had a pretty good run on that one. It was called V. So it was our 5th record. So you can call it 5 or V.
I didn't know what to say. I was going to ask. That was my next question. Because is it 5?
I call it V. Some people call it 5.
But it was what I was confused about too. Is now it makes sense because you said you had a record that you guys tossed. Because I'm like, this is the 4th record. So it must be V, and the band's starts with V, but it looks like a 5.
You got to know the history behind the band, I guess.
Yeah, I like that.
Pins we put out there for people.
I like that. When did you guys tour with Skynyrd? And I mean, you've toured with Greg Allman. Like, you've done some big shows.
Yeah. Well, we didn't really tour with them. Those were one-offs, but we did the first big show we ever did was with Greg Allman and friends down in West Palm Beach, Florida in 2011. They have a festival down there called Sunfest. It was insane, man. It was great getting to meet him and like just watch him from backstage. And at the time he was in really, really bad health. And then he bounced back after that before he even passed away. Like he got back into good health. But at the time he was like, it was bad backstage. Like he was like limping around, very tired, had to have a handler kind of walk him around. And then when he got on stage, dude, you wouldn't even know it.
Wow.
It was just like, he was full blast, gave it everything. I mean, it was incredible.
That is crazy. Yeah. When I saw Tom Petty, it was similar, but you could tell he was in pain. Like he would
Yeah.
go out in front of the, you know, and like, you know, give it his all, and then he would turn to the back of the, you know, like if he was looking at the drummer, and you could just see it in his face, because you know, they have the big jumbotrons. Like a couple times they caught him, you know,
Yeah.
and he was just then they, you know, quickly cut away from it, but like you could tell like he wasn't doing well. But he looked
Yeah.
like when he was up there, it was like, okay,
They still have it, you know, it's just in them.
yeah,
They're performers.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And speaking of Tom, you guys did a cover of my favorite Tom Petty song, "You Wreck Me."
You wreck me? Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Love
that
that
one.
song.
What was it? Why that one? Is that just a or a favorite of yours?
Well, we've played many Tom Petty songs over the years, and you know, we did "Won't Back Down," but it seemed like when he passed away, everybody was putting out a cover of "Won't Back Down."
Mm-hmm.
So we just wanted to go a different route and kind of honor him and what he's meant to us. And it's perfect for us because it's a great live song because it's so rocking. So
Yeah,
we're like, yeah, let's just do that one.
that's cool. Yeah, it's my favorite one.
Cool.
And they do a cool version with Stevie Nicks. She'd come out and sing it with him too.
Yeah, yeah. And we used to play "Stop Dragging My Heart Around" too live.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Some deep cuts.
Yeah.
So 2019 you put out V. You were able to support it quite a bit before
Yeah,
COVID.
the whole year.
Okay.
Yeah, we were going really strong. Had a really good holiday. We do an annual holiday tour around the Southeast and hit all our major markets that we do well in.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was at the end of 2019. We were getting ready to go on the road with I don't know if you know Mike and the Moon Pies out of Texas.
I'm not too familiar now.
They're a cool band. We were going on a Texas run with them and through Colorado, and we did the Colorado dates at the beginning of 2020, and then yeah.
Were you in Colorado when everything's?
No, our last show was in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay, so you're closer to home then.
Yeah, we were on the way home, had a couple of days rest, and then just never went back out.
Oh my gosh! And then,
so
at this point, then what do? You just have to sit on your hands and be like, okay, so now what?
Nah. I mean, I was doing like live streams and everything, and kind of got burnt out on doing those. I probably did 5. I mean, I'm not gonna say I would put a ton of effort into it, but you know, I have a 3-year-old son and wife, and I was just doing as much as I can around the house and keeping music relevant. And I started a business. I was like, I can't sit around. I don't know if music's coming back. It was just kind of up in the air. Like I figured it would, but at the same time, you just don't know with everything. The news, I had to turn the news off because it's nothing but just total
scare tactics.
Yeah, just every day, you know. And it's just the back and forth. There's too much, I don't know, contradicting opinions every single day. So I just turned it off. And I'm like, I got to figure out something to do. I'm going crazy. I'm sitting on my phone for 8 hours a day. It's making me nuts.
Right.
Like,
just
this is
stressing.
not productive. Yeah, really stressing. So I ended up starting a business in real estate investing. I've always been interested in real estate. So took the plunge.
Brilliant time
and
to
did
do
that.
it, man. I mean, wow.
Yeah, 2020 was a blessing for me looking back on it because I learned a new business, I learned a new skill, I learned a new craft and started a business. And yeah, I'm really pumped about that. I'm not an agent, but more like fix and flips and stuff like that.
That's cool. I mean, there's a lot of it here, man. I mean,
oh yeah,
everything is just going skyrocketing.
It's crazy.
Real estate.
My main market, my main market is Huntsville, Alabama. They're kind of the same exact way. I mean, they're blowing up down there.
Really?
Yeah.
All us Californians, man, we're coming to take over the South.
My best friend moved here from San Diego, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. What part of San Diego?
I'm not that familiar with San Diego. I don't know. He was a police officer there and just wanted to make a change. And
wow.
Yeah. He didn't really agree with all the politics out there. And he's like, let's go to the South. They seem to have it figured out.
Exactly, man.
And so, they came out here and met them, and yeah, they've just become quick best friends. And
that's awesome. That is awesome.
there's
So
a
you
lot
put
of people from California.
dude, my whole neighborhood, my whole street is like California. It's
Really?
crazy. Yeah, it's weird. Like across the street, they're like from, you know, Newport and like a lot of Southern California and middle California, a couple from like Sacramento area. It's just bizarre. We moved out here, I had no idea we're like, you know, infesting Nashville like we are. But
You guys are welcome here.
oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, okay, so you put out a live record this year, and where was that recorded? And was that done within the past year or no?
Yeah, it was in 2020. So we were doing a lot of live streams, just trying to stay relevant for our fans and just keep them engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we record our records in Atlanta with our producer, Tom Tapley. He has a studio there. And so we were talking to Tom, and we're like, hey man, we want to do something with you over COVID. Let's do something really cool. Let's have you set up the audio, so it's just top quality stuff. We'll get some really good video quality in here and get it shot. And so we did a live stream with Tom, and we didn't plan on it being a live record when we did it, but after listening to it, we're just like, man, we got to put this out. So that was our first live record we ever did.
Oh, so it was the audio stream from the live stream that you did.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's rad. And you have a new song too, right? Feels Right.
Yep, just came out with a new one. Well, the record's dropping next week, and so this is just the latest single off the record. But yeah, we released a couple of Fridays ago.
And so you've been working on the record all of COVID, so to speak?
Yeah.
Or when did you start writing it?
It's been 2 years in the making. We started writing right after when we released V, then we started writing for this one and started recording a couple of songs here and there. I mean, Colorado Evergreen on this record, we released that one in 2019, I think.
Oh, so that's going to make this new record.
Yeah. So it's been,
I wasn't sure if some of those were like singles, like just regular, like one-off.
Thought about it. Yeah, we thought about it, but we're like, you know what? We want to put that on a record because we want that on vinyl for sure.
Oh, you're doing a vinyl. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's been a while. And then COVID allowed us the opportunity to kind of really slow down and dive more into the songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
I think this record would have been totally different if we didn't have that time.
Really? In what sense? Like, do you feel like you had more time to sit with the songs and tweak them, or just?
Well, just more time to write. We wrote like 30 songs for this record.
Wow.
And
is that the most you guys have ever done for an album?
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah. And then we recorded probably 16 and then chopped that down to 11.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we just have more time to sit around and really dive into what do we really like. And we have the option to cut something out if we don't like it. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of new territory for us because usually it's like, okay, cool. We have 12 songs. Let's record them. Let's get them out.
You're usually like, yeah, like you have the full like track listing and then that's it. You don't have much to play with. Okay.
We just don't have that much time, you know?
Right.
Because we all live separate. Well, 3 of the guys still live together. But I live down here in Columbia and it's just, I can't get up there as much. We used to live all together and just practice anytime we wanted to.
So they live in Nashville, but just north.
Right. Yeah. They live over by the airport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so what about recording this record? Was that done, like, did you have to do virtually or did you guys wait long enough to where you could get in the studio together?
Yeah, we just went to the studio. It was like, just co-record. I mean, so we went down there and recorded with Tom and everything was fine. You know, nobody got sick, thank God. But yeah, got it done and really happy with the way it turned out. We kind of always go in new directions, keep it fresh for ourselves and, you know, and cross our fingers that the fans like what we do, but we're doing what we like. You know, we don't necessarily write we always write with the purpose of writing a good song, but not necessarily writing with the purpose of it has to sound like this.
Sure.
You know? And so you'll hear it on this new record, even with some of our new singles. It's like very, Bo, our keyboard player, likes to call it yacht rock. I'm not a big yacht rock fan, but I get it, man. It's a lot of keyboard based stuff on some of these singles, and I love it because it allowed me to get back to vocally more soulful singing.
Mm-hmm. So. And are you guys gonna be able to support the record with the tour, or have you played live? I mean, you said you played obviously like last night, but as a band, have you had a chance to play yet?
Yeah, we've been doing shows since March. We started back.
Okay.
And not really a tour per se, like extended tour. We're just doing like weekend dates, like 3 or 4 day runs here and there. Then my wife and I had a baby girl in May, so I'm like,
congratulations. So you have two kids now?
2 kids.
Okay.
It's a wild nut house around here.
I can't imagine, man.
Just a crazy house.
Yeah, it's a lot, dude. I got 2 kids too, and between getting them outside or getting them to the bus and everything else, it's like by the time you like wrap your head around what just happened, it's like halfway through the day, and they're about to come home. You're like, like where did the day go?
Just give me 30 minutes by myself.
Right. All right. Well, Daniel, man, thank you for doing this, dude. This has been awesome, and I want to see you. I want to see you play downtown or somewhere. So
yeah, I'll be down there the 24th and 25th this month.
Really?
Yeah, and we're also doing AmericanaFest on the 24th this month.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Very
cool. We're playing a midnight set at the High Watt.
Oh, wow. For AmericanaFest?
Yeah.
Okay, midnight set at the High Watt. Got it. Okay.
2 kids. I don't know if that'll work out with your schedule, but that'd be cool.
I can get we can figure out somebody to watch the kids.
Yeah.
And that's my birthday weekend, so
I'll
figure it out. Yeah, I know. My birthday's on the 23rd, so it's like you're playing the 24th. Maybe I'll have to figure that out.
Very cool.
So AmericanaFest, you're doing AmericanaFest and you're playing a solo gig or no?
Yeah, I'm doing Old Red from I think 4:30 to 8:30.
Okay.
And then we played the midnight set at High Watt.
Wow, that's gonna be a big day for you.
Yeah, just a lot of playing,
That is awesome. Well, dude, thank you again so much for doing this. I have one more question. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Yeah, sure. I can tell you what I would tell myself going back. Just keep doing it. Practice. That's what it is. Even if you think it's not getting where you want to go as quick as you think, just keep doing it. And even if you don't want to make it to whatever, like a touring gig, just playing music in general, it's something worth chasing and something worth, going after and cultivating. Because for me, like I said, I was a shy kid and it allowed me to express myself. And now it's allowed me to come out of my shell and meet different people, do podcasts that are really cool. And so it just opens up a whole new world. And just keep your eyes open and practice. Do it. Go for it. Yeah.